How is it going, guys? Welcome to my YouTube video. Today we're going to be talking about how I transformed my physique from fit to fat to fit again in just a year and a half of time. There is going to be quite a bit of information in this video, so if you feel like you need to stop and take some notes, feel free to do so. I get asked quite frequently how I was able to transform my own physique and as well as my own clients. So I figured it would be worth making a video about. So I don't want to waste anyone's time. Let's go ahead and jump into this. So what we are calling this is the away from average blueprint to shred body fat and gain muscle at the same exact time. So I will help you towards 10 to 30 pounds in a matter of 90 days or less without having to sacrifice all of your favorite foods or spending countless hours of your free time in the gym. So this is targeted more for people who are fat or skinny fat and are struggling to shred body fat and want to see their abs for the very first time with added muscle mass. So let me introduce myself. My name is Robbie Yerkes, and I have been passionate about bodybuilding, health, and fitness ever since I was 15 years old. I am also a physique coach who helps individuals who want to reach their fitness goals in fat loss and muscle gain. Today, I want to share the methods to exactly what I did to go from fit to fat to fit again with abs, which also happens to be the same methods that I use for all of my clients. So I went from fit to fat to fit. So I went from being 192 pounds, decently lean, and then I got injured. I herniated 2 discs in my back and I messed up both shoulders, both elbows. It was really bad. I used to be a power lifter and it all caught up to me over time. Then I was in bed for an entire year and I gained 55 pounds of fat, as you can see in the middle picture. And then I ended up shredding off all of the body fat and gained a ton of muscle mass in the process. And that was in a year and a half of time from whenever I first went back to the gym to where I am right now. So it is time to get serious. This is for people who are tired of not being comfortable in their shirtless body, want to burn every pound of fat off of their bones, have tried everything but just can't seem to figure it out, want to take proper steps in the right direction so they can make a permanent change to their physiques and mentality towards health, want to do things the right way and stop following BS fad diets online. If you want to shred body fat and gain muscle mass at the same time, you must be willing to dedicate 3 to 4 hours of your week to get into the gym and train. You must be willing to track your progress on a consistent basis, and you must be willing to invest time into managing what you eat on a daily basis. Believe it or not, countless hours of cardio, diet pills, meal prep delivery services, keto, carnivore, paleo, gluten-free, and other mainstream diet fads are not the key to making a success in your fitness journey. If you want to develop a permanent lifestyle change and become the best possible version of yourself, you need to attack fat loss from an angle that's better than what every mainstream commercial or magazine is telling you to do. In order to achieve your dream physique, there are 5 key questions that you need to ask yourself before you embark on this journey. So the 5 questions that you need to ask yourself to achieve your fitness goals is this. This is a very basic question, but a very helpful one. What is your why for your fat loss goals? I cannot stress enough how important your reasoning to go into a fat loss diet is. You need to have a very powerful reason. It shouldn't just be, I want to look a certain way. How is this going to affect your energy, your social life, your own personal happiness? How is this going to affect your relationship? You may have kids. How is this going to affect your life with your kids? These are all very important things to think about whenever you make a strong reason for why you should embark into a fat loss journey. What are the main problems that have been holding you back from getting you to where you want to be? Is your daily life outside of fitness going to be affected by the changes made in your training and diet? What key foods are you going to implement into your diet that will allow you to sustain long-term fitness goals? How will you approach, track, and ensure progress is being made? You may not have the answers to all of these questions right now, so I'm going to spend these next few slides in hopes that all of these questions will be answered by the end of this presentation. If you don't know me, here is why I started training in the first place. I was tired of being labeled as the fat kid growing up. Whenever I was in high school, that is what I was labeled as. My first few years until I started training, I was labeled as the fat kid. Basically growing up in all of my years. High school is whenever it really started to take an effect on me though. And I just did not want to be that anymore. I wanted to feel comfortable in my own physique and not feel so limited to wear certain clothes to make myself look better. Because I used to go to school and wear a hoodie and shorts every single day. I could never wear a t-shirt like I am wearing right now and be comfortable because I didn't like the way that I looked, and I didn't want anyone to be looking at me, to be quite honest with you. In social aspects of life, I found it to be beyond necessary to take action on my own health and get into the best shape possible. Just like many other people, maybe even yourself right now, I grew up with a lot of depression, and I wanted to find a way to love myself. And the gym was the first step that I took into self-improvement, which ultimately led me out of depression and into a life of happiness and self-love. I learned that the biggest problems standing in my way from achieving my own fitness goals were that my daily eating habits were not healthy habits at all, my training was less than suboptimal and needed proper corrections, I lived a very sedentary lifestyle and made excuses for not being able to pursue my own goals, and I learned that if I was ever going to achieve my dream physique, these were all problems with myself that I needed to overcome in order to reach that finish line. Here's how I annihilated all of those problems and got my dream physique. The best kind of plan is one that fits into your schedule. After listening to this, you will no longer be able to make the excuse that you just don't have enough time on your hands. Going to the gym 6 to 7 days a week is not necessary for fat loss or muscle gains. You could go to the gym 3 days a week. 3 days a week is enough. You can make that work. An hour to 45 minutes a day is plenty. And you don't need to cook every single day of the week. Try one day out of the week and prep all of your meals out to last a full 7 days. This takes 2 hours of your time. And invest into a lunchbox and hold 3 to 4 meals and keep them cold throughout the entire day. So that way you'll have meal prep on the go. Your journey to peel away at fat and gain muscle starts in the kitchen. So these are some different kind of sources of food that you can get into your diet, different kind of protein, carbs, and fats. Take a screenshot of this, take a picture of it, keep it in your phone. You can pick out these kind of ingredients and implement them into your diet. These are great foods that you can eat. It's not the magic trick to fat loss though. There is no such thing as a magic food, a magic tool that's going to allow you to lose weight. It comes down to proper management behind how you track your food, how many calories you eat on a daily basis. And if you want to gain muscle, you also got to know how much protein you're going to be consuming at the same exact time. There's a lot of different factors that play a part into how you can obtain the physique that you're looking for in the most optimal way, which brings me to different kinds of approaches and how you can go about fat loss. So the first one being the recomposition approach. So the recomposition phase is a period of time where the objective is to simultaneously build muscle and lose fat at the same exact time. You will be eating in your caloric maintenance, which is calories required for your body to maintain its own body weight and remain there for most days. Some days you can implement higher calorie days or lower calorie days. Learn and get used to tracking your nutrition in a software program. So there are many different options out there for this. You can go with MacroFactor, MyFitnessPal, Chronometer. There's also other ones out there called, there's one called Lose It. Slowly progress from low intensity to higher intensity training, especially if you are new. Progression should be made over time with rep strength and your own physique, and you should stay into this phase until changes in your physique and training become unnoticeable. And then from there, you can make a decision on whether you want to go into a cut or if you want to go into a bulk. So the fat loss approach, which this is the phase that the majority of you probably want to be in. This is where you shred all of the fat off of your body to reveal the abs that you have hiding underneath. You will be eating in a caloric deficit, which is less calories than what your body requires to maintain itself, and remain there for the majority of your fat loss phase. Foods should be tracked closely in a fat loss phase. You should decrease your calorie intake to where you're losing weight at a healthy and sustainable rate. Healthy and sustainable rate. Remember that. Implement refeed meals when you reach a point of high diet fatigue. You're going to reach a point where you're probably feeling pretty exhausted, and you should give yourself a refeed meal maybe once every couple of weeks, maybe even once a week if it gets to be that bad. Give yourself a mindful refeed meal and, try to enjoy the food. Maybe increase your calories a little bit. You could give yourself a 1 to 2 week diet break period as well to give yourself some time off, maybe boost back up into maintenance for a little bit while, and then you can jump back into the cut again later. Next up is the lean gaining approach. A lean gaining phase is where your goal is ultimately build muscle while minimizing any kind of fat gain in the process and hopefully lose fat in the process as well. You do not want to fall in reverse from any kind of achieved fat loss that you have earned in the past and gain back bad lifestyle habits. This is where a lot of people make mistakes because they go into a lean gaining phase and they start eating more calories and they start increasing their fat and carb intakes, and they get overly obsessed with food, and then they start eating more calories and more calories and more calories, and then things can get out of hand, and then they start adding on a good amount of muscle, but they also start adding on a whole lot more fat, which we want to avoid that. That's the entire purpose of going into a lean gaining phase. So you will be eating in a caloric surplus, which is more calories than what your body requires to maintain itself. That only goes slightly over what your maintenance would be. So just a few hundred calories over your maintenance, and that should be good enough for a lean gaining phase. The foods that you eat in a lean gaining phase don't need to be much different than what you would eat in a fat loss phase. We don't want this to turn into a dirty bulk, which is what I was referring to whenever I say people start getting out of hand with what they eat. So add an extra variety in your meals with added healthy fats and more carbs. You can get a little bit more creative, but you just don't want to go insane and go crazy on your lean gaining phase, because if you do that, then you're going to run into some issues, and we don't want to run into any issues in your lean gaining phase. So next up, 1 to 4 week mini cuts may be implemented to keep your body fat in check. If you start to notice you're getting a little bit fluffy, you could start implementing little mini cuts in between. The away from average blueprint is meant to point you into the right direction so you can torch body fat while simultaneously gain muscle and get stronger at the same exact time. So with that being said, I do have an offer for you. If you are skinny fat, overweight, skinny, tired of not seeing the physique and the results that you desire, and you are ready to make a substantial change in your life or achieve limitless confidence or take pride in your physique, you can click the link in the description below to book a consultation for one-on-one online fitness coaching. Or you can DM me the word coach on Instagram at Robbie A. Yerkes, and I'll reach back to you within the next 24 hours. If you work with me, we can shred 10 to 30 pounds of body fat while gaining lean muscle mass in the process using the away from average blueprint. This method is not only effective, but it is highly sustainable as well. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. Make sure to leave a like and a comment below, and I will see you guys later. Peace.